everyone. You're warmly welcome back to this edition of Our Positive Word. Thank you for joining me. We're going on straight to the second part of the victim mentality. Stop being a victim. I hope you're not one of those identifying as victims. The virus of the victim mentality has infected billions of people around the world, such that it has become very tiring to behold. It has become really, really important for this to be addressed. One thing about this unproductive mindset is that it removes the compassion, the sympathy, the support which real victims, actual victims of various circumstances beyond their control would have received. Because when we have lots of people identifying as victims, owning that victim badge, wearing it and whipping it out whenever, wherever, people get tired of listening to them. And then when the real person who's a victim shows up, they are just glossed over. No attention is paid to them. I know that victims come in all shades, colors, sizes, forms, and everywhere all over the globe. There are victims of family, cultural, and religious beliefs, victims of sexual perversions, like adults molesting babies, little children, men or women being violated by other men and or women, political victims due to their opposing views to the government or whoever is in authority, those in control of power. There are victims of a neighbor who simply delights in picking on another person, victims of bullying at school, the workplace, religious places of worship, in the various cults that we see in the world today. The list of victims is endless, and it's growing rapidly as evil replicates itself exponentially everywhere. In most of these cases, which I just listed above, the victims often have no control over what happened or was done to them. If such people could, if they could, they would do whatever they can to get away from their victimizers, from those who are meting out evil upon them. But at the time, they probably were not. What I want to focus on for this segment is the fact that there are individuals who have been perpetual victims. They have become perpetual victims. They have made being a victim a full lifestyle. I have encountered people who chose to destroy their lives with alcohol, food, sugar, drugs, yes, controlled drugs, and whatever else that are available today that people delight in using as the getaway from facing reality. A common denominator which is apparent for those folks who claim to be victim is that they had experienced awful things. Well, not claim. Let me correct that. The victims of actual atrocities, at some point of their lives, those awful things that happened to them was beyond their control. Yes, they had experienced those things in their past. However, there are certain people, as a result of what happened, they took to consuming whatever poison that they got hooked onto and would not engage with support to discontinue on that harmful trajectory. I have had someone say to me, to my face, I'm not an alcoholic. It is my life now, but I am not a drunk. The sad reality of that particular person was that it was very apparent that alcohol had taken total control of their lives, even though they blame everything on the past. One simple question which I usually put to such persons to get them to think is something along the lines of the fact that I point out to them that they had no control over whatever must have happened to them in the past. They were minors, they were children, they were helpless, they didn't have a voice. Those things were absolutely horrific things and should never have occurred to them. However, if we could, we would change the past. Yes, we would turn the table, make those things not happen. However, I ask them, who is doing that thing or those things to you right now? How are those things occurring right now? Because you have moved away from those people who hurt you. You have moved away from this location where those things happen. Who is hurting you right now? That's a question I want to leave to whoever is listening right now and probably identifying as a victim. Ask yourself, who's hurting me right now? John chapter 10, verse 11 tells us that Jesus says, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd gives his life for the sheep. My dear, that's what Jesus Christ did for us. He gave his life. You are precious to God. He sent Jesus because you are important. You are loved. He didn't make you to be a victim. I urge you to be the victor that God made you to be, not the victim of somebody else's or any community's desires, expectations, and damaging ideologies. The Good Shepherd gave his life for you to live victoriously. Discard that very, very destructive victim mentality and take up your place as a victor in Christ Jesus. I thank you for joining me today. Until I come your way again, I hope you would take up your place. Let Jesus help you heal and be victorious in your life. God bless you.